Hey, I'm Sam, and welcome to Finance Spot. What if I told you there's a US company that plays a crucial role in Europe's energy security, powers billions of dollars in global trade, and profits from both high energy prices and long-term contracts? At the same time, that company is Cheniere Energy. And whether you've heard of them or not, they are a key player in the global energy market, and a name every investor and energy analyst should understand. This is Finance Spot, and today we're breaking down Cheniere Energy, how it works, what makes it so profitable, and why it could be one of the most strategically important energy companies in the world right now. Let's dive in. Cheniere Energy, ticker symbol LNG on the NYSE, is the largest producer and exporter of liquefied natural gas in the United States, and one of the biggest globally. Headquartered in Houston, Texas, the company owns and operates two major LNG export facilities, Sabine Pass in Louisiana and Corpus Christi in Texas. But before we go any further, let's quickly explain what LNG actually is. LNG stands for liquefied natural gas. It's natural gas that's been cooled to around -162 degrees Celsius, shrinking its volume about 600 times so it can be transported across oceans in specially designed tankers. Once it arrives at its destination, it's turned back into gas and fed into pipelines for heating, power generation, or industrial use. This process is key to connecting natural gas markets across the globe, and Cheniere is the middleman that makes it all happen. They buy natural gas, liquefy it, and sell it to customers worldwide, often under long-term contracts that guarantee steady cash flow. Now let's break down how Cheniere makes money. First, they operate under a tolling model for much of their business. That means customers reserve liquefaction capacity and pay Cheniere regardless of market price fluctuations. This gives the company predictable revenue, even in volatile markets. At the same time, Cheniere also sells LNG on a spot and short-term basis, which means it can benefit when global prices spike, like during the 2022 energy crisis, when European gas prices soared. In other words, Cheniere has both stability and upside built into its business model. Let's talk about infrastructure. The Sabine Pass facility, located on the border of Texas and Louisiana, was the first major LNG export terminal in the US. It began operations in 2016 and now has 6 liquefaction trains, each one capable of processing millions of tons of LNG per year. Meanwhile, the Corpus Christi facility is slightly newer and designed with more modularity, using a mix of traditional and mid-scale trains. Cheniere is now expanding this site with a project called Corpus Christi Stage 3, expected to significantly boost their output capacity once complete. Combined, these facilities give Cheniere the ability to export over 45 million tons of LNG annually, with planned expansions pushing that number even higher in the coming years. So who buys all this LNG? Cheniere's customer base is as global as it gets. Major clients include utilities, state-owned enterprises, and energy companies from countries like South Korea, Japan, China, India, and across Europe. These are long-term contracts, typically 20 years or more, providing reliable cash flows and reducing demand risk. And with Europe scrambling to replace Russian gas since the invasion of Ukraine, US LNG exports, particularly from Cheniere, have become a lifeline for European energy security. This demand surge has helped push Cheniere's earnings and volumes to record highs. Let's take a quick look at the financials. Cheniere reported over $20 billion in revenue in 2023, and their adjusted EBITDA topped $8 billion. Net income was strong, and the company has steadily reduced debt while increasing share buybacks and dividends. In fact, they've guided toward $10 to $11 billion in annualized EBITDA by 2026, driven by increased volumes and new contracts. They've also committed to returning more than $20 billion to shareholders through 2027 via dividends and buybacks. Now let's talk about risk. Despite its strengths, Cheniere isn't bulletproof. The company is heavily reliant on global demand for LNG, particularly from Asia and Europe. If those regions shift away from gas, or if prices drop too low for long periods, profitability could take a hit. There's also regulatory and political risk, especially with growing scrutiny around fossil fuel infrastructure and emissions. Even though LNG is often seen as a cleaner bridge fuel, it still contributes to carbon emissions, and future climate policies could impact demand. That said, Cheniere is actively working on reducing its carbon footprint. The company has committed to carbon capture initiatives, reducing methane emissions, and offering carbon-tagged cargoes that track emissions across the entire supply chain, a move that aligns with ESG-conscious buyers and long-term market trends. Another key point to note, Cheniere's strategic importance gives it a unique edge. It's not just a business, it's become part of the global energy balance. With rising geopolitical tensions and increasing focus on energy security, countries are more willing to sign long-term deals with a reliable U.S. supplier like Cheniere. Let's also not forget about scale. Cheniere has already built out the most advanced LNG infrastructure in North America. While competitors are still navigating approvals or early-stage development, Cheniere is shipping product daily. That first-mover advantage is hard to beat. In terms of stock performance, Cheniere's share price has outpaced many peers in the energy sector. It has delivered strong returns to long-term shareholders, and thanks to its balanced approach of long-term contracts and opportunistic market sales, it continues to weather market volatility better than most. So, what's next for Cheniere? The company is focused on expanding capacity at Corpus Christi, strengthening its supply chain, and investing in new technology to further lower its emissions profile. It's also signing new contracts that extend its revenue visibility well into the 2040s, making it one of the most durable names in the energy space. In short, Cheniere Energy is a quiet powerhouse, not as flashy as big oil names, but arguably more important in today's energy landscape. It connects U.S. gas production to global demand, delivers consistent returns, and plays a critical role in the shift toward cleaner burning fuels. For investors looking at the future of energy, especially at the intersection of geopolitics, infrastructure, and technology, Cheniere is a stock worth understanding. Thanks for watching Finance Spot. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode of Stocks Explained. Drop a comment below if there's a company you want us to cover next. We'll see you in the next one.